Greetings and welcome. I am Joffrey, and today I'm back after a long hiatus of some 3.5, 4 weeks, approaching a month and a half, I believe now, in that case, of no Tinto Talk podcasts. It's been nigh impossible to get the three folks who normally consist this podcast of together to actually do this, especially with the fact that I have now actually got a much more consistent job, and I have a girlfriend as well, and both of those things are taking up a ton more time than I used to. I don't have as much time as I used to spend on stuff like this. So, I'm trying to force it in where I can now. We gotta make sure that I get back into it because I feel so antsy having not talked about any of this in so long, with only a couple videos sprinkled in here and there. So, without further ado, I see Dark has snuck into the channel while I was doing the intro. Hello,
Yes.
hello. That means there are at least two of us for this, yes? So, we are talking about, after skipping past a bunch of delicious stuff like the Hundred Years' War, which just we just haven't been able to make these happen for. I'll have to do some more short videos to cover some of that stuff. But today we're discussing the Aztec religion, and tomorrow is when the Aztec, just Mesoamerican content specifically, is being shown off. So hopefully we can make that work. I do have tomorrow off, so it should be fine. But it's a religion group, and there's a few religions in it. The thing that's curious to me here is that there's a difference between Nahua ritualism and Reformed Nahua ritualism. The implication being that when you do the reform your faith thing from EU4, it actually creates a new faith, and
It's like
also
K2 style.
yeah. The CK2 style of reforming a religion, where you press the button and then it instantly makes it. I mean, CK3 does a similar thing, but yeah, regardless.
Yeah.
The weird thing, Dark, is it feels like there's three things missing from that religious group.
Uh-huh.
There's only one reformed religion.
Yeah, no reformed Mayan.
Mayans don't reform. Chichimeca, which is a name I recognize, but I don't know what it is specifically. But or tonal, which is non non Nahua people they're like all tied
So,
up in Central America. They're like the current big power, I think.
as someone who hasn't read, my prediction is that one, you should make an announcement, and
Fuck you.
two is it's because Nahua is going to probably have Doom. And obviously that would be horrific to go the entire game with having, so trying to get rid of that mechanic makes sense, whereas the Mayans don't have such an oppressive mechanic that they need to get rid of.
Well, I suppose it's curious that they're keeping that concept though. You say like the fact that they're keeping the concept of the reforming religion, and even adding a new faith for it. But then none of the other ones have it. I can understand. I guess the concept would be that you have the Doom mechanics and you want to get rid of slash make them less bad. My guess with how EU5, because the way that EU5 does a lot of this stuff is, I suspect that it's not a case of you remove the mechanics, and instead will be that they're gonna adjust Doom to be, instead of a bunch of just bad, that it'll have some good to it, and that by reforming the religion, you change it to be, you get rid of the bad sides of it for you. But we'll have to read on to find out for sure how it works. Uh, does it still? I want to play in Central America. I got to play the tonal dudes instead. I forget. There's a red tag. I don't remember what they're called. There's some tag. It's red. They're called some Empire. But they ain't that big. But I want to play those guys. because Aztecs overused. We need Maya
Yeah.
stands out there.
The Aztec are cringe.
Yes,
Inca
listen,
are
they
based.
they did really cool stuff, sure, but like give some other people a
Yeah,
turn,
like
yeah,
tear hearts out and refuse to
yeah.
defeat their enemies, resulting in a coalition being easily formed by the Spanish to destroy them. Because their whole religion is built on the idea that they can never fully defeat their enemies because they need a regular supply of defeated warriors to sacrifice.
I'm thinking.
Definitely a country built to last.
I'm thinking about yeah the Jad in Anbanar now with the like the constant war against the malevolent dark where like the country's fundamentally built on the idea that we need to keep conquering stuff.
But at least they defeat their enemies and then find new ones. The Aztec keep their old enemies around.
That's
They'll just
true.
conquer around them and like make a fucking circle around them.
That's true because in the case of like you've got someone like the Jad and Anbanar where like as they expand they're making changes and they've got room for like yeah maybe we'll like they might change their goals but with the Aztecs they lock themselves in a cycle of violence with no out. There is no out. There is no way to win.
The Jad get new enemies
hmm
after killing their old enemies. The Aztec get new enemies while their old enemies are still alive.
Yeah. What? They farmed corn on a lake. That's pretty cool.
True.
hmm
True, they did farm corn on a lake. The Inca did it on a mountain. Where they can't fucking breathe.
Only correction. Only they can breathe.
Yeah, you and I would fucking die up there. We would actually fucking. I think we would suffer brain hemorrhages or some shit.
Also, I would melt. At least you live in some place that's more hot. I would go there and die of heat
I'll tell
stroke.
you, it's. I mean, once you actually start going up high, it's not so hot.
Yeah, that's true. But there's no snow on those mountains. Ah, whatever. Wait, eagle and jaguar
It's
warrior.
because there's no moisture.
Oh, oh, that makes sense. Yeah. Um. Okay. There's a lot of interesting modifiers that this religion has. So,
I see
slaves
eagle
working
and
with raw
jaguars, and I think,
materials equals yes. That means that
hmm,
um I was already like I was wondering how it works where we know that Catholic countries are able to have galley slaves, but we don't know the specifics of how that works. But there's a lots of yes and no. There was a yes or no trigger for slavery, but I don't remember what exactly the most common one has been. I think like Islam has one about slavery, but it was not unrestricted. I don't know what I think unrestricted must be like you can have people of your own faith too enslaved. Um, but this it's probably pretty useful this religion honestly. The I don't know what the eagle and jaguar warriors are specifically gameplay wise, but um, cross fingers that there's something that persists across the game and is not something that stops being useful in the second as soon as the Age of Renaissance ends. Uh, but yeah, allows Doom to impact country. Yay! And this is the first time that I at least have noticed some situation where there is this symbol and it says that slaves can work with raw materials. So I wonder how that works then. Some sort of production method, presumably, where you swap it over on a building.
yeah, I would figure that's what you have slaves working with, anyways.
Well, I think because
Slaves in the mines and slaves in the fields.
yeah, okay. This is the thing that has me confused. I wonder if because Islam has slavery, and
Yeah, the Europeans will have slavery once things get going.
this is also true, and it's not a case of like, yeah, I don't know how it's gonna work because
I don't know what that means. Because
because
what do
the
slaves do other
Europeans,
than that?
well, soldiers, There's lots of slave soldiers in
Ugh.
Islamic countries, but
Yeah.
this is the most common thing, obviously.
Plus,
Work
when they say
work the fields and
working
shit.
with raw materials, they mean like they use raw materials to make other goods rather than just
Like you could
producing them.
like have them replace craftsmen. Like
I suppose that's working with maybe implies that rather than
as in
because it says
sweatshops.
working with rather than producing. Maybe
As
that's all I
Aztec
can imagine it could mean.
Aztec sweatshops where you have your slaves making the obsidian clubs out of gems.
Yeah, sorry, Spain, but you can't have your slaves working in the gold and silver mines in the Andes anymore. You know, you don't have the religion modifier that lets them work with raw
So,
materials. Sorry,
sorry,
Pope.
The Pope got an event this game where he said where that says, "Do you want to let the Spanish do a slavery?" And the Pope said no, so that means you were physically incapable of doing a slavery. I apologize, but there's nothing you can do. All right. Tolerance. Yeah. Okay. Okay, so this is a whole thing. Q, religious focuses, and they're bars. They're like the fill up a wheel thing around to like show completion that they like to do in EU5. So these are the religious focuses or the reforms, I guess. And then you've got your
Yes.
actions.
Institute the Flower Wars
Wait, wait.
SMH.
Oh no! No, don't do
Raise
this.
sacrifice rate!
No, these are the opposite. No, no, don't institute the flower wars.
This is why NT is superior.
They need to not do this. So doesn't Inti also want sacrifices though? They toss people in
They
pits and
do
shit.
like they do like 2 sacrifices a year, one
Oh
male, one
yeah,
female, and it's not through some horrific method. They're like considered to be honored, and they're like, "Yo, for these couple before you get sacrificed, have a good time."
yeah. That's where the
Admittedly, it's still
whole
horrific human sacrifice,
like
but it's not so wasteful like the Aztecs.
the Aztec also have that same concept of the because they need to double down. They need to because the Aztec have both the mass sacrifice where you um take countless people from neighboring tribes and bring them to your big pyramid in your local city and then coat the entire pyramid red over the course of the day, and then after you take the heart out of the victim, you kick their useless corpse now down the steps, and it smashes
Mm-hmm.
crushes all over the stairs as well that people have to now climb over, which is wonderful. They also have the whole pick one person who is the new like embodiment of one of their gods, and then that person is treated like the most bestest thing for a year before they're killed. So maybe they saw the Inca having fun with that, and like let's do that too. That'll help even
They
more.
definitely did have contact with each other. I'll tell you that.
What do you mean? They're so close. They're both on the same continent, right? Obviously. Increase. Jesus! Increase militarism as well? Phew. Native Americans who knew how to build walls and are getting content. Yay! Thanks, AIM, for reminding me about the ones who aren't. I bet the fucking Iroquois aren't getting any content either, I bet. Hmm. Oh, oh. Can a man just play the Haida? What's so wrong with that? There used to be a time when a man could play the Haida in EU4 and migrate all the way down to Mexico and get the gold. But these days, no. No, the Haida aren't real. It's very sad. But yes, raise sacrifice rate. Appease the gods, host a ceremony, open a warpath, pilgrimage, reform society. We truly live in a society. I love. I I love how they always just like right next to the bottom have, oh yeah, also reform, I guess.
Yep.
Increase militarism, institute the flower wars, raise sacrifice rate, legal reforms. Yeah, whatever. Happy that your home my home province of
Saskatchewan.
fucking Saskatchewan. I hate you.
Saskatchewan.
No, I'm not. That's no. It doesn't even matter that just a fucking call Alberta Saskatchewan because it's a Native American name and Alberta isn't. Oh,
Oh
oh,
no, you're from
oh,
Manitoba, right?
oh, oh. Yep, yep. Oh, hello, Rasak. Hello, Rasak. It's been a while since I've been doing this. Yeah. Thought it was about time we made this happen again. Though, as usual, I'm shocked at how many people end up showing up within 15 minutes of it starting. Especially on a day that's after, it's been 4 weeks since I last did one of these, and yet within 15 minutes there's like six of you folks that aren't in this call right now. Yeah, that would be yeah. All right. Yes, an old EU4 friend. Doom. Doom is a special currency used by countries with the Nahua religion. Owning locations, especially urban locations, passively increases Doom. Oh, so everyone starts dooming the more people there are. YouTube automation knows what to recommend. Well, but Rasak, this implies that you were just sitting there on YouTube going, swipe, 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 eh, 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 just swiping it, and then you see Joffrey pop up. Ring! I don't know. I guess it would show you stuff after a video too. Yeah. But I guess this is a good sign for me. It means I'm not people aren't stopped being recommended me just because I took a break from doing these streams for a bit. That's how you use YouTube. You're right, channel. You're right. You're supposed to sit there and just swipe, refresh, refresh, refresh until something interesting happens. Or at least that's what you tell yourself. Having high doom value decreases loyalty to Overlord and stability decay, but increases estate satisfaction. What? The more doom you have, your vassals become less loyal and stability goes down, but the estates are happy. Huh? There's a number of ways to decrease doom, including killing enemy troops in battle, looting locations with high development. When the maximum doom is finally reached, the ruler and their entire dynasty are sacrificed and replaced with a new one. Okay.
Alright, so what I think the reason for increased estate satisfaction is because lots of the ruling class, particularly the priests and also, the kings, were usually well aware that things were actually not so bad, but they would use it to sort of control the public. They also had great astronomical knowledge, and they would sometimes specifically plan mass sacrifices on days they knew an eclipse would happen, deliberately, so that it would seem like, oh, the sacrifices are doing something, look! So, like, the top class were usually completely aware that everything was fine.
I mean, it is easy. It is possible to get caught up in your own hype, of course. But yeah, that's fair. And by that I mean the
Like, they still
priests.
believed it,
Yeah.
but they're like, well, these miracles aren't just going to happen all the time. Like, sometimes we just got to, make sure the people don't panic.
I mean, hey, that's where the whole just sacrifice the whole ruling dynasty thing comes in to be a guaranteed. Hey, we'll fix everything.
Yes.
See, if everything's fine, we just kill them and it'll be fine. Hello, Matfer. Hello, hello. It's been a while. Hmm. I wonder how bad it is. Like, what gameplay wise, how bad it is to have the whole ruling dynasty sacrificed. Zero Doom, and it goes up slowly. And that is just because there is a singular city. Yes, that's something I'm really curious. How many how many different things are affected by like territory rank? So like how difficult could it be, I wonder, to make modded like extra modded location ranks? Cuz that I really like the idea of making that a thing where we can make at least one rank above city to to just make stuff be possible to be even taller, but you'd only be able to do it under certain circumstances.
Metropolis.
Yeah, theoretically. And especially, and then like it's also a possibility, I'd say, for like underground stuff.
Urban terrain.
Of course, yes. When you build a metropolis, the tile becomes urban terrain.
He gets it. He
Yo.
gets it. He gets it.
Oh. Okay. Unironically, if you could do something like that, I would be 100% down for it. If it would be possible, I don't think it is going to be possible, but I would so do that. If there was a way to make a third government rank or third tile rank, and then you just make it so that like tick, when you build it, you made Metropolis, it now changes it to a new terrain type that's just urban. You see how hard coded it is? Yeah, that's fair. Imperator has Metropolis, yes, but the thing with that aim is that so Imperator has three settlement, three location tiers, which are rural, city, and metropolis. And metropolises are incredibly rare. EU5 also only has three, at least in vanilla, and those are again settlement, but they don't go straight to city. They go town and then city. So they're both the same functionally. It's just that cities, like the equivalent of metropolises, are a lot more common. So yeah, I very tempted by the prospect of a metropolis terrain type because there'd be like several places around our map that we could have start like that if possible. And then, as I was saying, it would be really useful for underground stuff because of the idea of you can just dig in any direction, and then maybe a super late game industrial tech as opposed to magic would give you the ability to just do it above ground too. I don't know. The difference is available buildings and pop limits, right? Yeah, yeah, yeah. So there is a big thing between um in EU5 the core things that the cities do, from what we understand at least, is the types of buildings it allows and the population capacity. In Imperator, it was like a 100% flip, where if you make a city, the buildings you make there are completely different. It is just completely different buildings. But in EU5, it's like there are some buildings that go between the two, but it's mostly a case of you unlock new ones. There are some buildings that are specifically rural, but for the most part, it's a case of, you go from a settlement to a town, you lose a couple buildings that are explicitly rural, but you mostly just gain new ones while keeping a bunch as well, and then you go to city and it just again unlocks more. So I don't know what the fuck making a metropolis tier settlement would do, or what you would be able to make there, but it would be interesting. And the RGO max level goes down, yeah. Yeah, the RGO max level goes down, but pop cap goes up. Alright. It's different from Imperator. Imperator cities and Metropolis have the exact same buildings. Yeah, yeah, exactly. A metropolis is just an objectively better city in Imperator, but a city as opposed to a town in EU5 actually has different buildings. Not 100% different, but there's just new ones you get. And they're all really good. You really want cities. As you can see, doom accumulates over time, and the bigger the country is, the more doom it accumulates. It can be mitigated either by performing some mechanics, such as killing enemies and looting locations, or by some of the religious actions. There's only one way of completely escaping from it, which is reforming the religion. This can be achieved by passing enough religious focuses, the former EU4 reforms. Uh, yeah, in EU5 you get the better buildings that replace old ones, true. I doubt that it's a case of like them requiring you to have cities for more of them though. Yeah, I don't know. I just want to get my hands on the game. Why can't I want to feel it up? Sink my teeth into it. Right. But yeah, raise sacrifice rate. I'm sure that's a good one. Oh well, yeah, but elevate patron god. What is that? What does this do when you finish it? These focuses are a necessary pain, as they give a debuff to your country while they're active, but you need to accumulate some of them to be able to reform the religion. So, elevate patron gods. So yeah, they have a pantheon, but the idea is that each city has a patron one. So you pick one when you elevate a patron god. You pick which one is going to be your patron god. That's the head of your religion, and then you get a bonus for it. Ooh, Quetzalcoatl, army movement speed.
Hmm. Wonder why.
Cause this feathered serpent. Whoop, goes zoom. But recruiting explorer is very curious. Why the hell is there one that gives a modifier to recruiting explorer? That's not even an important modifier. It's a shitty modifier because recruiting recruiting characters is not typically something you're doing because you can just send normal ones. And if it comes to exploring as like a Native American tag, you you're not worrying about how
Gotta
long
find
that's
the
taking.
Navajo. You have to find the Navajo, Joffrey. You don't
Yeah.
understand.
Geez, yeah, I'm almost finished colonizing Texas. I need to quickly go and explore further north.
The Navajo are west of Texas, not north.
Northwest.
No, they're just like straight west.
I didn't think there was anything west of Texas.
Yeah, there's this place called California.
Slaps knee. Some deities and imperator are ass, while others are god tier. Well, that happens in any game. Any game. It's like how you know, some religions are ass in CK3. Like the fucking what is the yeah insular, insular in CK3 is the most dreadful faith. It is so bad because one of its three tenant slots is just the one that says okay. It also listens to the Pope, so that's a waste. The other one is pastoral isolation, which means which is just negatives. There are no bonuses for that, and I don't even remember what the third one is. Maybe it's communion, which is just another thing to make the Pope better. But I don't even think it has that. I don't
One
know.
day we'll get a Catholic update in CK3.
No, no. You'll never
One
be
day.
able to play
One
the
day.
Pope or actually use
I know.
Cardinals
Well,
in Crusader Kings.
you literally had Cardinals in CK2.
Never, never.
Bring them back.
When did CK3 come out? Was it
Years ago,
19?
I think.
I think it was 19 or 20. It's got to be 19. Damn, is it that old? No way. No way is it from 2019. Oh, 2020. Fuck, I was 19 years old when CK3 came out. How is it that old already? We were wanting EU5 back then. Isn't that crazy? Jesus. Jesus Christ. My fucking my half brother was still in diapers back then. Yikes. 1st of September. Oh, disease resistance. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Write that down, write that down, write that down. Tell me about this disease resistance. See, the best thing that you can do for yourself as the Aztecs is day one, spontaneously generate cows and pigs so that you can quickly speed run disease resistance over the next century. God, it's gonna be so ass playing the Iroquois and the so you'll play the Iroquois and you'll have less pop than like Irish like some shitty Irish miners. You have like the same population as Brittany at best by the time that the Angles show up, and when the Anglos show up, that they're going to give you the big cough, and then your whole country is just going to disappear, and you're not even going to have like any like expansion plans before then. That's going to be so horrible. Every percent will matter. You lose 90% of your population. You're gonna need to min-max the shit out of disease resistance before they get to you. Like, there better be, like, if there isn't a way for you to rush researching stuff that helps with disease resistance before the Europeans get to you, you're so boned. You are so boned.
Just don't get sick. Duh.
Duh. Yeah. I'll just
Why don't
do
they just
that.
develop a vaccine? We did it for COVID.
Oh dear.
And look how well that went.
Yeah. Well, but they can't develop a vaccine because they don't have cows.
True.
They need to like rub themselves in cow shit like the European peasants did.
No, it was some disease. There's like two diseases, smallpox and cowpox. And if you got cowpox, which wasn't deadly, that would also give you the immunity to smallpox.
Oh yeah, I forget who the dude that figured out how to make a vaccine work. What was I forget what his name was, but yeah,
Yeah,
so I
I
wonder
don't
how he
remember.
figured that out.
Well, see, he didn't. That wasn't even like the traditional vaccine we have today,
Yeah.
because that was before germ theory. He
Uh
didn't
huh.
know that like disease was caused by little bacteria,
All he
as
knew
this
was
is
that if you
smallpox
get
or viruses.
all he
It was
knew was
just a
that if you
virus.
get sick with this thing that doesn't kill you, you won't get the thing that does kill you.
Yes, and also that if you do survive smallpox, you also never get smallpox again.
Mm-hmm.
He
So
noticed that. Yeah,
extremely
he was like,
basic
sure.
understanding of how disease works, but that's all you need to get started.
Yes.
Which is to say, the Aztec need to invent alchemy
Cows.
and, and start wasting time trying to make gold. They already have gold. Because like, there's literally a tech in the age of I don't know, one of the early game techs is alchemy, and it's like better for disease resistance and shit for some reason. But serpent woman, hot. What's this about serpent women? Huh?
Uh-oh.
A vizier, the serpent woman? Huh? But Institute Flower Wars. Yep. Society demands sacrifices. Gotta get more of them. We can agree on fair combats with our neighbors, and both sides can sacrifice captives. Is that how this works, huh? Yeah. You agree? So the Flower Wars. Yeah, you're saying that it's a fair agreement between two sides of yeah, we're gonna have a fight, and we're both gonna murder the shit out of each other and take captives home to be sacrificed. It's gonna be great. Everyone's gonna have a wonderful time. Set focus. When fully researched, this will have the following effects. This religious focus will make the interaction appeaser gods more effective, reducing more doom. Appease the gods, so lose 10 doom. Any pop in location enslaves is greater or equal to 100 people. Oh! Oh! They are actually simulating it with slave pops. Oh my god. Oh, wow. That's fun. Also horrifying, but fun. We've got to take our own Aztec-like dudes and change we can't just give our own Aztec guys in our mod the whole sacrifice thing. We've got to give them some of the aspects of like Aztec, but not all of them, because I want to see what they're doing for the Jaguar Warriors and stuff, and I like the whole the honor in like combat and the fighting, embodying the strength of animals and shit. That stuff's all cool, but I give the sacrificing to someone else, so it's more unique. Hmm. I like how they're not even mentioning directly; it's all implied in the text. Yeah, yeah. It's interesting. It doesn't actually state what it does because, like, oh yeah, slaves are greater or equal to 100, but it doesn't actually say what it does. To the slave, it doesn't say that it's getting rid of the slave pop. So I'm curious about that. It's weird. Host a ceremony. Damn, that requires even more slaves. Weird. Weird. Why does this ceremony require more slaves? Huh? A monthly basis. Every month they have this celebrate. Okay, yeah, great. Oh, and they're only 20-day long months. Oh, open a war path. Send emissaries to our neighbors to celebrate a flower war with them. Gain a flower war CB against the selected neighbor country. what a what a lovely what a lovely concept. See, yeah. Oh, wow. Uh, we're gonna celebrate a
Yo,
flower war with them.
we're going to attack you, and we're gonna fucking kidnap a bunch of your citizens and soldiers. But if we lose, you could do the same. Have fun.
No antagonism though. No one gets any antagonism involved. So what happens when like Spain shows up and you declare a flower war on Spain? Huh. The maintenance of our empire and the world require a constant stream of captives. Only through a state of constant warfare can we ensure we have access to such a supply. The world cannot afford peace. Jesus. The last action, reform society, allows to reform the religion when enough religious aspects have been enforced. But it has a big con. It triggers a disaster. Reform society, which needs to be resolved to become a reformed Nahuatl society. It is time our society undergoes great change as we strive to defend our people against our foes. Abandoning the obsolete beliefs and administration methods of the past, we will embrace the future through this turbulent period to come. Start the Reform Society disaster, and if successful, you gain stability. Remove that government reform and gain a new one for Reform Nahua Society government reform. All subjects with the altipedal governments will be annexed. Convert to Reformed Nahua faith. And their pops of the old Nahua ritualism faith in locations with at least 50% control will reform. Will change to Reformed Nahua. Okay. So it changes all of them. Okay. All of your pops that were in places with at least 50% control. Okay. So theoretically, then that's a case of like it annexes all of your subjects and the subject lands don't convert. But like most of the land you control directly is probably going to be upward like at 50% control by the time you're doing this, I imagine. So well, all the land that matters at least. You'll probably have like whatever you'll have whatever cities at the heart of your empire. Woo! 20 or more locations have greater or equal to 500% subjects. Huh. Hope there's something like a game rule to call the Aztec Empire the Triple Alliance. I I think they said that you form it. That you form the Triple Alliance. Isn't that right, Dark? We read that ages ago, right?
I believe, but I don't remember precisely.
But in any case, AIM, I think it's a formable tag.
I believe so.
Because the Aztec are a country that exists, but the formable is the Triple Alliance, I think. Maybe. In any case, we'll see. Formed society. Less than 80%, less than minus 80% centralism. Eesh. We've had the reform disaster for greater or equal to 10 years. They force you to deal with it for a certain amount of time. You can't just that's a new level of pain. I don't think I've ever even seen that in like Anbanar, where with all of their disasters in EU4
That's
where
in
it's
some.
what?
That's in some.
Some? There's
I
like
think that
where it
one of
needs to
them,
last a
it's
certain
like,
amount of time.
yeah, there's some. I think Court and Country might be one of them. Let me check. Let me check.
I like this government reform in any case. This is a delicious government reform for reformed Nahua society. An innovative
Yeah,
series.
Court and Country requires 10 years.
Okay. Well, I guess it's going to be a more common thing in this game. An innovative series of centralization reforms and legislative frameworks make up the basis of a new government, with attention to detail and a strong grip of power. This type of jurisprudent basis will cement the rise of a powerful nation adherent to Nahua teachings. So, yeah, you can revoke privileges easier. Crown power goes up 33%, which is delightful. You get extra centralization and another free gov reform slot. And the Reform Nahua ritualism, of course, slaves, work raw materials still, yes, unrestricted slavery. Tolerance of the true faith goes up. Pop conversion goes up. Army morale. What's changed here? Is these two are different. What did it get rid of for that? Oh! You can't build eagle and jaguar warriors when you reform your faith. And it gets rid of the doom. It gets rid of the doom. Entirely.
Yeah, I told you that's what I figured it would be.
Yeah, and I didn't think it would. I thought that it would be that you would still have some of your government mechanics, some of your religious mechanics, but I guess it just gets rid of them all. Hmm. Ah, another tonal religion. Maya ritualism. Delightful. Seemingly they won't have to reform, so. Religious aspects. Well, here we go again. Religious aspects. Oh. Sacrifice noble blood. Nice, nice. Yes, of course. Slowly prepare for the next cartoon. What?
Remember 2012, the world's gonna end.
Is their whole religion going to be based around preparing for the end of the world? What?
Who knows?
There's no doom. Centers around the concept of the cartoon. It's a measure of time. It corresponds 19.7 years. The end of a cartoon, a new one starts. Marked by many ceremonies and festivities, making the occasion a truly important date for a ruler and its people. If by the time the current cartoon ends we have invested enough resources to prepare for the celebrations, we gain a cartoon celebration for 10 years. So half the time until the next one, I suppose. On the other hand, if we are not ready, we might gain a cartoon celebration mismanaged for 10 years. Be fully ready once our religious influence is at least 90. Huh. So prepare when you press the prepare buttons, it's like costs something and then gives you influence. Ah, so preparing, yes, maximum tax goes down, but then you get other things. Well, I mean that's not bad because it's not that it decreases the efficiency of your tax. It's that it decreases the maximum that you can tax people, which means that if it's decreasing the max tax, the people will be more happy with you anyway. So it only really hurts you if you were trying to tax people max anyway. Country can choose, yes, you choose the degree of your preparations. The cartoon will happen on the actual dates according to the historical Maya calendar. So the first one encountered once the game starts will be in 1342, with the following ones occurring every 19.7 years. Once the cartoon finishes, the country will get an event with different outcomes depending on how much preparation they've been able to accomplish, as well as resetting the preparation back to zero. The people will be disappointed. Aww. So mismanaged celebration. Tax efficiency, this is the bad one. Morale goes down. Proficiency, efficiency, or prestige, efficiency of cabinet goes down too. It's all bad. Yeah. 20% max tax is a lot. Yes, it's also true that we don't know how much the maximum tax for the Maya will be. But seeing as they're tribal, there's a good chance they're not going to have the best max tax to begin with, and that 20% will be a pretty sizable blow. So fair point. The bonus for successfully celebrating it, it scales? Yeah, it does scale. So it goes, yeah, you could have like 10% for a lot of things. Most of it's, yeah, like 10. It just straight up goes to 20%. 20% army morale. 20% army and navy morale for 10 years. Damn, it takes a lot of gold to invest in this, but the rewards are good. 20% efficiency of cabinet? I'll pay that. I'll pay that gold, that tax cost in a heartbeat. Dude, I'll just fuck it. I'll just make all my money from trade. I don't care. Whatever. Whatever. I'll just change my whole country to be bent around making money in other ways so I can get this celebration to be popping off. Cabinet efficiency of 20% sounds more than nice, yeah. That is a scrumptious modifier right there. I mean, the monthly prestige is surprisingly small, but the morale as well? What the fuck? Like, you just wait until the next cartoon starts, and then that's when you go rock up on the Aztecs. Eesh. Besides the normal preparations, other additional actions can be contributed. Can contribute. So you select a character from the noble family. Gods need the blood of our people to maintain balance in heaven and earth. The noble's blood is the purest and most valuable of all. So you select a noble character, and then they might die. I don't know why it's a case of might die, but okay. Uh, but 10 religious influence is definitely good. That'll help. Uh, Clergy and commoners gaining estate satisfaction is also good. Yeah, this is all nice stuff. And you choose. You can do a pilgrimage by. You select. Yeah, you choose a holy site to do a pilgrimage to, for religious influence at the cost of more gold as well. You, the pyramid of the magician. What? What the hell is the pyramid of the magician?
It's the pyramid where the magician is.
I guess. I'd love to meet him. I'm
I thought it
sure.
would be obvious.
Yeah. Wonder how long before the next tune you can start preparing for it, or if it was said before. I imagine that as soon as the one finishes, you could start preparing for the next one. I'm bad because you when the cartoon starts, it sets your religious influence to 0 again. So anything you do after that point to gain religious influence will start preparing you for the next one. So yeah, just attempt to basically a case of just attempt to get 90 religious influence every 20 years, and you'll get some chunky modifiers. Sounds like it could get tedious though. The religion also has other ways to spend influence at the end of the cartoon, although the risk, yeah, you risk not being fully prepared, so you can host a ceremony. Each Unial, okay. On the Unial Zek, the celebration revolves around honey. The gods would receive sacrifices of figurines made out of honey, and the apicultures give it away to the people with generosity. And you get Unal Zek celebration for 1 year. But it costs you that influence. Don't know what that modifier does, though. The bonus was only 0.06. You need the time. Yeah, you definitely will take a while to get that influence. The good Katoon modifier could help pay off the tax malices. We can start preparing for it right after the previous one. Yeah, the fact that it gets tax efficiency is really good for sure. It's raining? How bad is it raining right now? I've got like in like 4 hours I'm supposed to be a security guard at a baseball game today, so I need to check how bad it's raining. The fuck? It never rains here, but it's raining so much lately. Oh, it's coming down pretty hard actually. Whole damn sky is overcast. You cannot see blue when you look up at the sky outside today. Sheesh. Should open that window earlier. Or open the blinds, rather. Sheesh. But, so you get your patron god as well? Same as the ritualism. Maya ritualism also has gods. Some of them are actually the same ones with different names. So we have dynamic naming for gods. Quetzalcoatl and Kukulkan are the same god
Kukulkan.
with Kukulkan.
I know him because he's in Smite.
Oh, I see. Same god with dynamic naming. I see. And
I also know Chonk.
You know Chalk?
Chalk.
Mm.
Yeah, he's in Smite too. We call him Chonk.
And
because he's brain dead.
I've heard you mention Chonk, so
Chonk. Because he's brain dead, no brain. I hit.
Chonk's gonna chonk you. Beautiful. I wonder how much these modifiers are, you know? Because if
Yeah, that UI is a bit rough.
If Quetzalcoatl has a huge army movement boost, that would be that would be awesome. Also, the army maintenance, of course, because your professional troops are going to be expensive. Woo!
It's probably something like 5%.
Yeah, I doubt it's anything too special. But yeah, if you could play the Aztecs and have good army movement speed, that would be so useful for using different terrain to jump people. But I've heard pretty conflicting answers in regards to how smart the AI is at using terrain. Like I've heard some content creators say that they marched into enemy territory and then their supply lines got cut off behind them and they didn't even see what army did it because it was all in fog of war and invisible terrain and shit, and then they got ambushed on their way trying to get back out of enemy territory. Just like, okay, that sounds really fucking neat, but I don't know. Peru Petcha. The mechanics for gods is common to all tonal religions, as well as many of the folk religions. We can now show the religion we've decided to call tonal, namesake of the tonal group, gathering under its umbrella beliefs related to those of the Nahua and Maya, but still distinct. So it's the tonal religion is the just generic tonal religion then, because it's in the religion group, but they
Yeah.
don't want to make a unique one for every single person. So
Imagine if there was a religion just called Christian in the Christian group, separate from Catholics, Protestants, Orthodox.
yeah, I suppose that's the equivalent, which is like, I mean, it's probably better than them. I'd say that this is better than if they had just made everyone that they didn't know
Animist.
just like you're all just either animist or you just get the Aztec faith, because neither of those would be accurate. So this is the best compromise, I think, because it represents the fact that they have similar yet importantly different religious beliefs. Toenail religion. Yes. Yes. I'm curious, honestly, how often the Aztecs are going to rise. Oh, I'll be very curious. There's actually a lot of different places around the Aztecs lake that have the Nahua faith, though. So yeah, doesn't mean it needs to be the city itself that rises and causes the Triple Alliance to form. But conversion rate, yeah, religion modifiers 3 gods. That's a lot less. Weird. But yeah, add a religious aspect. Huh. I get. See, they've got the same gods. The gods of a country of these religions are always present for the countries, but they can choose a religious aspect to worship a specific god as their patron, doubling the effects of such a god. Oh. So for this religion specifically, for tonal, you get the bonuses for these 3 gods all the time and can choose one of them to prioritize. Oh wait, we actually get to see the numbers here. So 10% dark.
Oh,
10% army movement speed is that's a number.
alright.
That's high.
It is a number.
5% would be like, yeah, you ain't even really gonna see that. But 10% will add up. That is a worthy bonus. That's all for today. Come back Friday to talk about the Tinto flavor about the Aztecs. Also, wishlist EU5 now. Oh my god. Oh my god, wishlist it now. Guys, wishlist EU5 now. Wishlist EU5 with my promo code at. That's gonna happen, isn't it? Oh, whoa! People did not. Why did so many people disagree with this dev diary?
Well, let's read the comments and
I
see.
I suppose it is a pretty neat post. Can you always read the bonuses? Yeah. See why? What about the Chichimecha? Which tags does it apply to, and which does it have unique mechanics? Yeah. Oh, yeah. They didn't show that religion, huh? Interesting that they didn't. They can also have slaves work raw materials. Does not have unrestricted slavery, so they can't have Chichimechans as slaves. Levy size goes up. Prestige from land battles as well. But yeah, you can have slaves work with raw materials. Huh. Same thing as always. Someone not happy about historical detail, I assume. Well, there is. Damn, it's actually increasing in strength out there. That is rain. I think I hear thunder too. What the fuck?
Thunder and lightning ain't so frightening.
Thunderbird incoming. Uh, but so like it could be that someone's unhappy with historical details, I guess. But normally people aren't so negative. For the most part, EU5's community has been pretty pleased with Dev Diaries. But yeah, I'm curious. It's a little bit of a shame that only the Nahua religion gets Eagle and Jaguar warriors. It's gonna make it, and then they lose them when they reform. So I'm curious how this all works. But I do like the bonuses of this religion. I do like the prestige and levy size. Mind you, levies are complete ass, but they're still going to be important. Like they're terrible units, but hey, someone's gonna die while the important units deal damage. It's the distribution of these. Yeah, they've been doing. Yeah. Oh, next month feedback for Central America. Nice. Can you build Eagle and Jaguar warriors with the Reformed religion? Oh, okay, so you can with the Reformed religion as well. I was scared. I was scared, but you still can. And then tomorrow we'll see what the Eagle and Jaguar warriors actually do. Okay, so the malice is for. Okay, yeah, this is an important one. Estate satisfaction is also impacted, which is important. I can totally see people just tanking it to get better rulers and such. Yeah. Yeah, because I don't see what the bad thing about losing your rulers is right now. Because yeah, the Doom gets to max and then your ruler gets fucking executed. But there's no problem with that I've seen yet. Because they didn't say anything like I think that it causes you to have all your vassals break away in EU4 at least for one. Hope to get more advanced versions with guns later. Exactly, that's my hope. Like, dude, can you imagine that? That's what I want. Like, if you have a late, like as the game goes on, so you start with your Central American warrior unit models because they don't have them yet. I know they at Game Start. I think they're just using. Wait, no, who is it that has models in America? Is it Central America that they made the unit models based on, or the Plains natives? I think it's just Central America. Yeah. So theoretically, you'll have the unit models based on them, but I don't know if they'll have the actual as like Jaguar War and Eagle warriors in their design. But yeah, it would be really neat if they had like as you advance, you take the Jaguar like clothes and yeah the pelts and such, and then refine it into as it stops being over time. Over time, it goes from being literal eagle and jaguar pelts into them making a uniform, an actual like manufactured textile uniform that looks like a jaguar or eagle in its design. That sort of thing would be really neat, but they will never do that. But it would be so cool. The best we're probably gonna get is something like they'll have like I don't know a bunch of eagle feathers or some shit on their models. I don't know. Forms don't have to be passed in order. Just pull what the country Columbia follows. Last Maya, Nahua are heretics, not heathens. Okay. You're actually sacrificing the slaves, but it's not showing correctly in the tooltip. Okay. Scope actor capital random pop limit pop types. Yeah, so it's slaves specifically, and then yeah, point add pop size 0.1. Does 0.1 mean 100? Please no. No. Don't say it so. Please say it ain't so that 100 is represented by 0.1 in the code.
Glorious.
No.
What? You're upset? You have hey. Now you get to do 0.01 or 0.001 if you want to go to 10 or 1.
Why? Why isn't it just 1 for 1 in the code?
No, 0.1. 1 would be 1,000 in this case.
I know, but why?
Nope. We love our decimals. I love how we're going to have some provinces that'll have like 0.267 people in it.
You're gonna say add? Yeah, it's like yep. Province. You'll
We
go
love
into the code and just be like, yeah, game start. What is the
size 0.267.
yep pop size? And for each individual type of pop, you'll be like, yeah. Fuck. I need to check to see if the game that I'm supposed to be playing or well, being security guard at later is still going to be on. I forget where I even checked that last time, but it's kind of important for my what's doing today. Yeah, they haven't made any. I don't think they've made any posts yet. So yeah. All right. As of now, it's still going on. The negation is difficult to understand. Okay. In this case, you need to be more to the left than minus 80 positions, which means as centralized as possible, as the most centralized position is minus 100%. Minus, yeah, okay. So the point is that you need to be incredibly centralized to actually press the Reform Society button. Yeah, okay. I was a little confused by that as well. It's enough resources for it to pass. But yeah, okay. With 50 or more religious influence, your country will be prepared enough, and with 90 it will be very well prepared. But with 75 or more, it will be able to rush the remaining preparations by paying gold and get to the very well prepared bonus. Right? Sounds good to me. And next time we'll talk about the Eagle and Jaguar Warriors. Yep. Symbol for Eagle and Jaguar Warriors, a Conquistador. Generic infantry icon, just as EU4, yeah. Mesoamericans have 11 flavored unit illustrations. Look at these lads.
And all of these lads.
You got your obsidian spears and stone hatchets. These are some I mean the AI has done a good job of giving them iron shields for some reason though, so At least it looks like they've got an iron rim on the shield. And some I suspect that they didn't really do that since their iron was extremely rare and shitty. But making non-iron tools will be a vibe, yeah. Because yeah, one of the first things I originally planned on making one of my, like a short, snappy, unscripted video about was when I saw that in one of their ages ago. It was like half a year ago now, at least. There was a tin. No. It was yeah. It was more than half a year ago. They did a talk where they just explained some stuff. Like it was the map, I think. Yeah. It was the Tinto maps of North America, and they explained that there's the reason that there's so many gems in Central America is because that's representing the obsidian from the volcanoes, and that you use obsidian that they use obsidian to make weapons. Uh, so they have a unique production method for weaponry that uses obsidian, which I think is really neat as a concept. One of the production methods for the building, same with bronze weapons. I think has anyone? I don't think we've seen anyone talk about bronze weaponry, but I do hope that that exists because I fully intend to. There is a place on our in our setting that we're using for our own EU5 mod where the place is going to have very little iron. It's going to be a giant straight area, and that place is going to have terrible amount like access to iron, but it will have decent amounts of copper, with some pockets of tin here and there. So the point will be that they are stuck in the Bronze Age. Maybe they'll be able to dig up some iron later on, but who knows? Same Tinto maps that outed you as a Saskatchewan. Yeah. It was this. Well, it was the one after that one, actually. Yeah. If not, would be easy enough to add. Yes. I'm sure it would not be hard at all to add a new production method like that. Yeah. Especially since we're fully intending on adding a lot of different. We're probably adding a lot of different resources to the map in general. So new production methods would be required for those. Well, but it appears that's the end of this. Less comments than I expected them to have. And with that, I suppose we can wrap up this stream here. I'm unused to this. It's been a while now. Sheesh. Yeah. So, thank you all for watching. Hope to see you next time. We'll hopefully be back tomorrow with the next one. The bald one is abandoning you. I am so sorry. Deeply saddened to do this to you. Yes. Bye-bye.